Okay, we're going to take a look at how to reduce fractions using prime factorization. We've been working on prime factorization for a couple of weeks now, so it should be getting pretty familiar to everyone. And what we're going to do is see how we can reduce 4 over 14 using prime factorization to an equivalent fraction that's as small as it can get. Okay, so here we have 4 over 14, or 4/14. And what we're going to do is a prime factorization of 4. So we get 2 times 2. And then of 14. And because these 14 is an even number, we know we can factor it down with a 2 and 2 and 7. So we have the prime number equivalence of 4 here, 2 times 2. And the prime number equivalence of 14 here, 2 times 7. So we can rewrite this fraction as 2 times 2 over 2 times 7. And then here to reduce, we can just do the fish game. I have a 2. Do you have any 2s? And if they do, you put those cards down. 2 divided by 2 becomes 1, so we can ignore this now. It would be 1 times 2 and 1 times 7. And this 2 over 7 is, in fact, equivalent to 4 over 14. Once you've taken out all of these similar prime numbers, you get 1 for 1. Then whatever you're left with, the product of those numbers in the numerator and product of the numbers in the denominator will be the lowest, the equivalent fraction in the lowest terms. So in this case, it's 2 over 7. 2 over 7 is the lowest, as 4 over 14 in its lowest terms. Okay, hope that makes sense. And then we'll look at 4 over 16. So we've got the same thing going on. 4, if we divide that by 2, we have 2. And this time I'm going to use a slightly different technique to the factor tree. They both yield the same answers. And we'll look at 16. This is even, so we can divide that by 2 and get 8. And 8 is even, we can divide that by 2 and get 4. And 4 is even, we can divide that by 2 and get 2. So here we can rewrite this fraction 4 over 16 as 2 times 2 over 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And then we can do the go fish thing. These two 2's cancel out. And these two 2's cancel out. And you have to remember these end up leaving a 1. So you could say we're going to have 1 times 1 here in the top. So 1 times 1 is 1. And then in the bottom we have 1 times 1 times 2, which is 2, times 2 again is 4. So our denominator is going to be 4. And this is our final answer, 1 over 4. And if you go back and look at the numbers you canceled out and multiply the numerators together, this 2 times 2 is 4. And in the denominator too, it's 2 times 2 is 4. You basically just divided these two numbers by 4 and got 1 over 4, which is the lowest equivalent fraction for 4 over 16. Prime factorization isn't the only way to get this, but it does work pretty neatly. You can say, okay, 4 and 16 are both even. I'm just going to say, I'm going to divide them both by 2. And I'm going to get 2 over 8. Okay, so you can do that. And then 2 and 8 are both even, so you're going to divide them by 2 again. And you're going to get 1 over 4. So you'll end up at the same answer, but as the numbers get bigger, this prime factorization method will work really well for canceling out, and whatever you have left is what your fraction is going to be. Okay. So we had 1 times 1 here for 1 in the numerator, and 1 times 1 times 2 is 4 in the denominator. All right, so that's how it's done. Give it a try and message me if you get stuck.